Hello and welcome into episode 112 of Two Man Game with Damon and Dom. I'm Damon, that's Dom, and you are the listener. We are here, the peak, the summit of the season. The NBA Finals starts today when you're listening, but we're recording this the day before, of course, June 2nd. Final start June 3rd in San Antonio, just down the road from me. I'll be going to games one, two. No, I won't. I can't afford any of that. But I wish that would be so cool. It's the Spurs, it's the Knicks. It is a rematch of the 1999 NBA Finals, in which Tim Duncan won his first championship very early on in his career. It might have been like his first, it might have been his rookie year, actually, 99.
I think it
He,
was. Yeah.
yeah. So that's obviously huge, and that was really the last time the Knicks had a chance. They lost to the Pacers as well around that time period, right after when the Pacers played your Los Angeles Lakers in the 2000 finals. So that was kind of the last Knicks team that had made it this far. So obviously, big deal for them, big deal for the Spurs, first time being back since kind of the Tim Duncan, Kawhi Leonard era. Um, so we're gonna have a new champion. And a new champion for what, the eighth year in a row, I believe. And we will
Yeah.
talk about the finals, but we will do that later. So we're going to talk about some other new stuff, some coaching stuff, some award stuff, the conference finals. We got to talk about what happened in the conference finals, and then we'll talk about the finals at the end. So if you don't want to hear about whatever I just said, just skip all that. Just go right to the end of the episode, and there'll be some finals talk somewhere in there. But we got to talk about how we got there. Before we do any of that, Dom, the man, the myth, the legend that's living. How are you doing this fine evening, June 2nd?
Yes. My living co-host. Um I'm good. I'm good. I have been, pretty busy. Some music stuff. We're recording new music, so be on the lookout for that. Really excited about that. Been just I went to a birthday party over the weekend, been going to shows, having a grand old time here in Los Angeles. And gonna come visit probably pretty soon. End of July. But honestly, right now I'm getting ready NBA Finals, obviously, and then the World Cup because the World Cup is gonna be in North America and in LA. So it's pretty crazy. I'm very excited. I've loved the World Cup since I was like 8 years old. So
Mm.
excited to finally be in a city that's doing it, and I can't wait for the traffic. Yeah. But I'm doing good. How are you doing, Damon?
Once I was 8 years old. I'm doing all right. I hate that song, by the way. I'm doing all right.
Not a good song. Not a good song.
It's been, as you know, a very busy time in my life. Now, most people would think as an educator that summer is when I become less busy. No, actually, my entire job has changed. I'm not even doing the job I was doing. Now I'm teaching math for 6 hours a day at least, and sometimes more. So that's a lot because that's not what I was doing. I was doing something else, and now I'm doing that, and it requires a lot of planning, a lot of grading, a lot of parent contact. Well, I did a lot of parent contact, but now it's directly about your child and how they're doing in my class. You, the listener, I'm pointing at the camera for our audio listeners. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and that's been
Mm-hmm.
an adjustment this week. So that's been keeping me on my toes, as well as some other things, perhaps in down the line. We'll see. More to come on that. Um, Aside from that, basketball conference finals was excellent on one side, and on one side it was not excellent. But it was a great watch, of course. I've been talking with friends. I've been playing games. I've been playing disc golf, of course. That's still going on. And yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that stuff is good. It's just the work stuff has been stressing me out with the recent change. But
Yeah.
that's okay. That's okay. We're rolling with the punches. Just like Steph Curry is now rolling with all of China. As, as
He is China now. He is our
he
ambassador to China.
he signed a 10-year, $400 million shoe deal with a company called Li-Ning, who I am obviously not familiar with. From
Like
reports that I
leaning.
saw, like
Sorry.
Li-Ning, yeah, but Li-Ning, reports that I saw is that he was offered kind of similar um, value, $400 million, with a lot of different shoe companies. But Li-Ning is doing the thing that he kind of did with Under Armour, where they're like, you're our one athlete now, basically. Like you're the face of our company. We're gonna put you everywhere, all over the world, all over the country. He also has what's called the Curry brand. Like we're gonna really promote that. So they're giving him kind of that, ambassador-esque role where he's almost kind of merging himself within the company rather than just being like another athlete, like a Nike athlete or something like that. And they have so many.
Yeah.
So uh, it seems that's the way he went. It's still weird. We kind of talked about when he left Under Armour. It was like a big like, whoa, he was Under Armour, and now he's leaning. So
He's
obviously
leaning.
he's leaning. Steph Curry leaning three. Oh, um,
Bang. Okay,
yeah,
I'm sorry.
What does this mean for us? Nothing really. Hopefully, Li-Ning makes good shoes. I'm gonna look up a pair of Li-Ning basketball shoes right now and see what I think.
Yeah, yeah, let me know.
Li-Ning.
Let me know. Describe it to me. Yeah, I mean,
Okay,
when I read
these
this,
look
I've never heard of them,
interesting.
so it's like good, interesting, or do not share your screen right now. It will destroy
Oh,
my
I
computer
was
if you share
so
your
about to
screen.
share my screen. I was about
You
to share my
cannot do
screen
this.
so hard. I
I
mean,
know
they
you
look
were.
fine. They look like
Yeah,
normal.
just like basketball shoes.
Yeah, I mean Yeah, I don't know. They don't have the Nike swoosh, so how will I ever know? Um, Yeah, I don't. We've already spent too long talking about this, so I will now move on to the next topic, and I'll take it because
Okay.
I know that you are not that familiar with it. I try to be, but who knows? The anti-tanking 3-2-1, it was coined. Lottery reform has been approved by the NBA. Are you alive, Dominicus?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, your camera was frozen. Now it's unfrozen.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
so it was approved by 29 of the 30 teams, so it ended up getting approval, and it starts next year in 2027. So we talked about this last time. If you want to go listen to our last episode, I'm not about to try to explain it again because it is very complicated. Do you know who did not approve of this draft change, Dominicus? You do.
I
Who?
sure do. The Memphis Grizzlies did
The
not approve
Memphis
of
Grizzlies.
this.
Now, do you know why
Yeah,
the Memphis Grizzlies did not approve?
because they got some picks in a trade, and now those picks are basically like they're almost guaranteed to kind of be like top picks. Now they could be literally anything. So they're like, what? We wouldn't have made that trade if type deal. So
Yeah, so this goes back to the Jaren Jackson Jr. trade that just happened with the Utah Jazz. The Utah Jazz, who picked Ace Bailey at 5 last year, and then they had another top 5 recent pick, I think, that is totally escaping my brain.
Keontae George,
Uh,
right? Or no?
he was not a top 5 pick. Jazz draft pick
Uh,
every year. This is excellent. Oh,
Walker
okay.
Kessler. Walker Kessler.
Um, okay, they actually didn't have a top 5 pick the year before. It was Cody Williams, who has been very bad. He was picked 10.
He was 10.
But
Yeah, okay. I remember that.
they have a bunch of Jazz picks down the line. So basically, they're worried because one of the things in the new proposal is that you cannot be in the top 5 3 years in a row. So the Jazz were just top 5 last year. They're going to be top 5 this year. They're number 2, I think, right? In this draft. The
Yes,
draft
it's
lottery happened. We talked about it.
Wizards, Jazz, Grizzlies. That's the three.
Yeah. So the Jazz are 2 this year. They were 5 last year. If they finish top 5 next year, wait a minute, because of this new rule, they actually can't. And that pick that would have gone to the Memphis Grizzlies, top 5 pick, now just doesn't exist anymore, basically, because they can't be in the top 5. So it would, fall back. So that's why they voted against it because they made a
Yeah.
trade, Jaren Jackson Jr., first round pick that was going to be really good. Now it can't be really good by the nature of this rule. They didn't know was going to exist.
Yeah. Yeah, there's
No.
also some things in it about like a lot left to the discretion of the commissioner Adam Silver. Like, um, if there's someone I think gets like a pick, but like, let's say they are picked for whatever reason the third time in a row, the commissioner, it just says in there like it will be decided if that happens. So like they don't know if they're just going to give them like number six like automatically, or if they just don't get the pick at all. Like there's a lot of still questions within it. Um, things I like, things I don't like, but we talked about it last time. So
Yeah.
it's approved.
This,
We just got to
this
do it. We
is
just got to do
um
it.
this is where I think like we should have grandfathered this in, like picks that have already been traded, like that this rule
Hmm.
shouldn't apply to them because they were traded before they knew or before it existed. So, but yeah,
Yeah.
like you said, hopefully Adam Silver can make the smart call because I would be very upset as a Grizzly fan if I had a top five pick that wasn't a top five pick because of a rule that didn't exist when we traded for that pick. That would be
Yeah.
stupid.
And maybe it's because like the Jazz don't have it, so if they do get a number five pick next year, it's like, oh, it's the Grizz pick technically, so then it wouldn't.
Hmm.
Even though the Grizzlies are top five this, but like it's not three in a row, so
Right.
maybe that would be like the little thing. But anyways, it's supposed to sunset in 2029 if people don't like it. I remember reading it like if it doesn't work
Yes.
out, so it's like they're gonna test it basically right now.
Yeah, so if listener is unaware, sunsetting is basically like there's a rule in place that they can just change it in 2 years if people really dislike it. So 2027, 2028, 2029, three drafts total. And then they'll decide what it looks like from there. We'll see.
Yeah.
Ugh,
Let's talk.
enough
Let's
about
talk
the
about
draft.
something. Enough about the draft. Let's talk about some like front office stuff that we definitely know a whole bunch about.
A
The
lot.
Hawks extended GM Ansi Saleh and promoted him to president of basketball operations.
Yay. Remember those
Sick.
two basketball jobs, general manager and president of basketball operations, and for some reason they're two different jobs, and some teams have one, some teams have both, some teams. Yeah, and the hierarchy it like kind of depends on the team. Well, now this guy has both jobs. He said, it's just me." And he got promoted and he
I'm in
got
charge.
extended. He took over after Landry Fields was fired. He traded Trey Young. He, kind of started this new core. They did get walloped by the Knicks later in that round after going up 2-1, but obviously successful so far, I think, with and making some bold moves. So I am all right with that trade or that extension for him.
Yeah, and some good signings too, like Nikhil Alexander Walker. So
Yes, yes. Another hiring, the
the
76ers hired general
I
manager
was yeah.
Mike Gansey to be their next president of basketball operations. So Daryl Morey, of course, fired by the Sixers this offseason. So they took the Cavs general manager. Why is that? Because the Cavs have a president of basketball operations too. They don't need a general manager, or they'll just promote somebody else to be their general manager. And who knows what that job does. I don't know anything about this guy, so I'm not going to pretend like this is a good or bad hiring because I really have no clue.
Yeah. Me either. So let's just keep going. Hall of Fame coach Rick Adelman passed away today at age 79. Adelman served as the head coach of the Portland Trailblazers, the Golden State Warriors, Sacramento Kings, Houston Rockets, and Minnesota Timberwolves. Most people probably know him from the Sacramento Kings, but I remember him from the Houston Rockets because I went to a lot of games with him as a coach. I remember like very specifically hearing about his name, and he also was he didn't create this new offense, but he used this very fast flowing corner offense that's still used today. So he just kind of had some changes to how basketball was played, and yeah, he was in the Hall of Fame and just passed away. Just thought should recognize that. So yeah. Do you know, is David Adelman his son, or is it just
David
a
Edelman is
coincidence they
his
have the
son.
same name?
Yep. Yep. David
Okay.
Edelman,
So head
Nuggets
coach of
coach, is
the,
his son. Mhm.
got it. But yeah, do you remember Rick Adelman?
I
Really?
got like, in terms of coaches, I don't remember coaches from my childhood like at all. Like I remember like Phil
Mm,
Jackson and the Lakers. I remember Pat Riley. I remember Doc Rivers on like the Celtics. I couldn't even tell you a Rockets coach. Like I could tell you now, but like when I was a kid and I was watching the Rockets, I was like, I don't know who the coach of this team is. I didn't even think about it. I was like, Trace McGrady is awesome. That's all I care about.
That's funny because like I remember Rick Adelman, Jeff Van Gundy, Mike D'Antoni. I remember
Yeah.
being there, and my it was always my parents making a deal out of it. They're like, "That's the head coach." That's They were always like, "That's Greg Popovich. He's really like for
They're
the
wearing the
Spurs. He's
suit.
really good."
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
What you
My
know about
parents
Kevin
forever.
McHale being the head coach of the Rockets?
Oh, I mean, of course, I remember that too.
Celtics legend.
And yeah, but I remember. Yeah, my parents just always ask about and love Greg Popovich. They were like, "Oh, he's still the coach of the Spurs, right? Even now." And I'm like, no, no, he is not.
I mean,
He like
close.
you're
Like,
close, but like you're close, but also like no, he's like 90. He's not, but he's like Anyways, um,
he really
yeah,
is 90.
yeah. Moving forward with some coaching hirings and stuff. You took a few in the beginning, so I don't mind. Jamal Mosley, who is just the Orlando Magic head coach, has been hired as the head coach of the Pelicans on a 5-year deal. 5 years. What do you think?
It's always interesting that, like, I guess to hire a coach, you have to offer them a long-term contract. But like they never last 5 years. It just doesn't happen. I feel like the Pelicans just did this with with Willie Green. I think he was still at
Willie
his
Green.
contract. And he was a young coach, and Jamal Mosley is still kind of a young coach trying to prove it. Now, this hiring happened so fast. Like he was fired after the first round exit, and he was hired like halfway through the second round. It was like a week turnaround. It was kind of wild how fast they hired him. Um, but I'm happy for him because I don't think he was a bad coach. I think the Magic are kind of an oddly built roster. And I think like, yeah, maybe he could take a little more kind of, risk, I guess, for what he was doing over there. Because I think he kind of stuck with his guns a lot of the time. And it was like, oh, there's just not enough spacing and there's not enough this. But they played defense well. They had guys develop well, and then they had some guys that didn't develop really at all. I'm interested to see what will happen with the Pelicans. I'm glad, this is another example of a team I'm glad didn't like hire the remnants of Tom Thibodeau or something like
Yeah.
some guy that's super established and has like a way he wants to play because this team is not ready for that. I don't think. I think they still need to figure out who is on their team that is worth being on their team. They need to figure that out before anything else. So hopefully he can help that. Do you have any strong thoughts about this?
I just have a lot of thoughts on the Pelicans in general. I like Jamal Mosley as a coach. I thought maybe they would go a little younger, but I guess since they are trying to compete technically. They're not technically rebuilding.
Hmm.
Um, and my thoughts mostly go like I think they should start rebuilding. Like they have some good young players, so might as well try to get the value up of like Zion and DeJounte, Jordan Poole, whatever, and then just like move forward. Trey Murphy, Herb Jones, basically clean house. But I mean, Jamal Mosley can also be there for that. Like, it's not crazy. He's not,
Jamama
like you said,
Mosley.
established. Um, so yeah, I like it. I just hope the Pelicans are better. They always
We
are
can
worse than
hope
you
and
think.
hope and hope, huh? What is
We
it?
sure can.
um, Another coach hiring that took place during the playoffs here. Spurs associate head coach Sean Sweeney, who is still in the playoffs, has replaced Jamal Mosley over there in Orlando as their next head coach. Very interesting hiring. Sean Sweeney's pretty young. He has had some pretty successful assistant coaching stints that I think he has a very good reputation because of that. And I think that's why he ultimately landed this job. And this is another example of coaches coming from the Spurs tree. We've had a lot of Spurs tree coaches in our lifetime. Just some I can think of off the dome. Steve Kerr used to be a Spurs coach. Ime Udoka used to be a Spurs coach. Um, Mike Budenholzer, obviously Mitch Johnson now is a Spurs coach. There's a lot of guys that have passed through that system, and there's even more that I'm not thinking of at the moment. But these guys usually have a decent amount of success, so it makes a lot of sense. And yeah, he kind of is, my understanding, been in charge of the Spurs defense this year, which has obviously been awesome with Wemby, but even like the way they kind of rotate and crash and hustle, and I'm sure we can talk about this when we get to the playoffs later and we talk about that. I think has worked really well. And of course, the Magic known for their defense as well with the pieces they have. So this seems like a pretty good fit. A guy getting his first shot with the team that, maybe with the first time head coach will kind of lower their expectations. I think that they're like, we need to be in the second round, but maybe now they'll kind of take a step back and do a little more figuring out their identity, just like the Pelicans. We'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, I like it. I recognize him. I looked him up because I was like, I feel like I've looked at the Spurs bench for months now, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, he looks familiar. So Spurs have a good repertoire of coaches. You know, probably comes from Popovich and everything. Um, but yeah, congrats to him. And we're talking about hirings. Let's talk about a firing. Jason
Oh,
Kidd has been fired as the head coach of the Mavericks. He
ouch.
had 4 years and over $40 million remaining on his deal. Um, that is a long time and a lot of money. Why? I really don't understand.
Just gonna be paying that man.
They
Gonna
really
be
are just trying
awesome.
to clean like anyone who was there during Luca and this Luca trade and everything. They're like, you're out, basically, get out of here.
Yeah.
Um, it's just kind of crazy. It doesn't. There's not really a good. I don't think there's a really good explanation besides that. It's like they're just trying to like get rid of that any remnants of that time so people can try to move forward,
Hmm.
which I don't agree with. I don't think Jason Kidd is responsible for that. I think it made totally sense when Nico Harrison was let go, but I don't understand why Jason Kidd is now. You know, he did his best with the team that was there, and now it's going to be totally different. He doesn't get a chance to like try to do something with this team. So I don't really understand this or like this firing. What do you think?
Um, it's weird. I think it's hard to say. I know we talked about how they hired Masai Ujiri last time as their new general manager, and I don't know where he and Jason Kidd were together, but I think what kind of happened is Jason Kidd and Luca were still on the Mavericks when Jason Kidd got this extension, I think. So then they trade Luca, they draft Cooper Flag. Now all of a sudden they're a rebuilding team, not a team competing with Luca. And I guess Jason Kidd is supposed to be more of a competing head coach. This almost kind of tells me Masai Ujiri is like, hey, I'm here now. I have this young player, Cooper Flag. I need to start over like from scratch and build the team how I want to build it. I don't think Jason Kidd is the guy for that. So I'm gonna go ahead and fire him. And Patrick Dumont said, okay, I don't know anything about basketball, so go right ahead. And now here we are. So I get it. It's just I think this is kind of maybe the last unfortunate kind of victim, if you will, of the Luca trade because it doesn't really make sense for Jason Kidd to be there if they're not trying to win.
That makes sense. And you know, I was thinking about other players too. I mean, like Kyrie's still there, Clay's like obviously players still there from that time, but I think their contracts will end soon. PJ Washington's still young. Um, Daniel Gafford's still kind of younger. So like I get like the coaching adjustment and then you'll do the player adjustment at some point. We'll see if they even like to trade some of them, try to get stuff. I mean, but even with this new like trade lottery, they might not want to trade, you know, I don't know. So they might try to compete. So Mavericks are I think they're in one of the more interesting positions and compared to a lot of other teams because of the fallout of a lot of things. So,
Yeah,
um, but yeah, I mean, hey, Jason gets to do nothing for 4 years and get paid over $40 million. Hey,
just gonna be kicking it up
whatever.
at home,
Yeah.
lounging.
Speaking of coaches,
Speaking of coaches, the coach of the year. We had Coach of the Year, one of the many awards. It was given to Joe Mazzulla of the Boston Celtics because they, of course, you know, went way above expectation, finishing as the two seed, and then they got eliminated in the first round. And then they announced this award in like the conference finals. Granted, it's a regular season award. I think we like it didn't really work when it happened, and I'm not sure why, but I feel like we need to have like a regulated award program. It's so jarring that they're just like, here's this award, like randomly during a series. It's like, okay, I now know who the all defensive teams are. game 6 of the conference finals. That's cool, I guess. Thanks for letting me know.
Yes,
The regular season ended
dude.
like a month ago, a month and a half ago. We should have been released. The ballots were in before the playoffs even started. So why did we take so long to release them? That's weird.
That's one of my biggest I really don't nothing's changing in this. And I hate how they do this MVP like trophy like during the finals game.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what if they're not in the finals? Then like they're just get at home and they do, or
Yeah,
they
they're
don't
just
at
they're
all.
just at
It's I'm
home.
like, do
Have
a
a
thing.
ceremony.
Yeah, like just do the thing, Like that's fine.
Do like
Embellish it a little bit.
regular
It's
season,
more.
and if you need a little
Mhm.
time to put together the awards, do the play-in, then do the awards ceremony, then start the
Yeah.
playoffs.
Totally. And also like the thing is like if they're like I mean I'd rather watch that than the All-Star game. I'll say it.
For
I'd rather watch
sure.
that. I'd rather be like on the edge of my seat like oh who's going to be MVP? Is it finally going to be Luca? Of course not. So like I'm stoked for that as a
Yeah,
fan.
make it
Um
make it like the Oscars, the Emmys, make it a little something like
yeah,
that.
just
Everybody shows
yeah.
up, it's whatever. And I
Just make
think
it make sense.
it'll just make so much more sense. And I think maybe part of it is like the NBA wants to drum up interest. So it's like, oh, there's a game off between, game 5 and game 6 of this series, and there's no other game. Here's when we'll release this random award now to give something people, just so people keep talking about the NBA during this day off. It's like, it's just unnecessary.
Yeah. No, don't love it. Anyways, he's a coach of the year. JB Bickerstaff and Mitch Johnson were the runner-ups. I think I had Mitch Johnson as well, just because I was like, I did not this first team did not expect to be the second seed at all.
A
Celtics are
great
still like they're
question.
proven, you know what I mean? So it's
Who did,
like
who did I have for coach of the year? Because I'm so smart.
I'm pretty sure you had Joe Mazzulla.
Coach of the year, I had Joe Mazzulla. I actually had Joe Mazzulla, Mitch Johnson, JB Bickerstaff.
Yeah,
I'm him. I'm him. I'm so good at
I
this.
th- yeah I think I was Mitch Bickerstaff then Mazzulla because I was like I still don't think he should have got coach of the year, but it doesn't matter what I think. I guess. Hey, how about these rookie
Um,
teams?
hey, how about we talk about these rookie teams? I was so close to being right, having the first 5 picks, but Ace Bailey nearly missed it. So, first team we had Koopa Flag, Dylan Harper, Con Knippel, VJ Edgecombe, and Cedric Cower slipped in there for that fourth spot or that fifth spot. So I almost had 1 through 5 like I wanted on my fake team. And I realized that was a long shot, but those
Yeah.
those five still deserve it.
Yeah, I know Dylan. I mean, obviously Dylan Harper's amazing. Yeah, I think we had him later just because he missed a lot of time this year. But I guess with rookie awards, it doesn't matter, right? If you miss the time, it's just up to the voter. It's not like they're out
Yeah,
automatically,
there's
right?
not like
It's
the
only for
65 game rule. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it only applies to some
Um,
awards.
which is yeah. I mean, all or nothing. I don't get it. But yeah, I mean this five is a great for I mean one of them is literally playing in the finals, which is insane. It just looks great. Plays very maturely, which is really cool. And then on the second team, at the front we have Ace Bailey, like you said, Jeremiah Fears, uh, Colin Murray Boyle, who I had, which I felt pretty good
Hmm.
about.
Hmm.
Raynaud something is his last Maxime, right? Raynaud Maxime,
Flip it.
it's his last name. And then Maxime
Right.
Raynaud. There we
Yep,
go.
there you go.
And then Derek Queen. Um, so you got two Pelicans on there, so they can't be that about it.
Yes.
But
I I like this list. It's a good list. I went 9 for 10 ultimately instead of Colin Murray Boyles. I had Ryan Kalkbrenner from the Hornets, center that
yeah,
played a fair amount for them this year. But I had the other guys. I had Coward, I had Queen, I had my goat Jeremiah Fears, who I think played
yeah,
all 82 games. So you'll love to see it.
nice. We love to see that. I don't have my list in front of me. My computer's gonna crash if I try. So, I remember I saw Colin Murray Boys and I was like, I feel good that I threw him in there because
Yeah.
he looked really good. You want to tell me? Or hey, I'll do all defense team. I'll do first team.
All right.
So first, who we know, Wemby won DPOY, first unanimous DPOY. Very cool to see
Yes.
that. And then we have Chet Holmgren, who didn't play like runner-up
We're gonna
DPOY.
talk we're gonna
We didn't
talk
talk
about
about
that
that.
guy.
Asar Thompson, shout out, love that.
Yes, it was
Rudy
awesome.
Gobert, pretty cool, like a throwback. And then Derek White to round out the first team. So we got a guard,
Yeah.
two guards in there. It's pretty cool.
You know what's crazy is that I had the same five people on my all defense first team, which is nuts because I am not an actual NBA voter person. But I looked at the list that they released and I was like, that doesn't sound right. And then I looked at my list and I was like, that's exactly my list. Wait a second. I disagree and also I picked this. Um, I was a little surprised by the placement, I think.
Yeah,
Bec because of the next two names on the list, on my list, my personal list at least, that I had on second team, and then I looked at it and was like, why did I put this person on second team? And maybe the playoffs, influence this when you watch people in the playoffs, and you're like, oh my God, that guy is so good. But that was for me, Scotty Barnes and OG Anunoby feel like they were just so good defensively that I was a little surprised they weren't on the first team. But I also didn't put them on the first team, so I don't know how I could be surprised. But I saw a lot of discourse around Scotty specifically. I think people thought he was probably better than Derek White this year defensively, but who knows?
yeah.
Anyways, Scotty Barnes on the second team, OG Anunoby, Cason Wallace, Bam Adebayo, and Dyson Daniels. Yeah,
All very good at defense.
all
So
good
it
at
makes
defense.
sense.
Again, I went 9 out of 10, which is surprising. I had Bam and Cason Wallace, which is insane. I did not have Dyson Daniels. I had Homer pick
Mm,
Amon Thompson, uh, was my 10th name. So 9 out of 10 for both rookie and defensive teams. I'll take that.
nice. All right, let's get lost in the sauce. All NBA teams. This is the one. This is
Oh,
the big one.
oh, I'm sad about this.
We got some people that didn't qualify, some people that did at the last second. So, interesting list. Let's talk about it. All NBA team first, as we know, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander won MVP, so he is
Back to back.
first, and
Buh.
back to back, which we'll talk about a little bit later. Nikola Jokic number two, Victor Wembanyama. Yana, who the hell is that? Victor Wembanyama, and then number three, Luka Doncic four. Hey, we love him. Cade Cunningham five. So Cade made it in there.
Nice. Yeah, Wemby finished top three MVP. I know you didn't like that. Luca actually and Cade both end up winning their appeals and being All NBA first team players. They would not have been All NBA first team players had they not won their appeal. My first team was Jokic, SGA, Luca, Wemby, and somehow I put Kawhi Leonard on here. Um, so he doesn't make it, but Cade does instead. I think Cade, it was really the inefficiency for me, but of course, Pistons being the one seed in
Yeah.
the East, that makes sense. I realized I was sad about this All NBA team because Jaylen Brown was on the second team, not because I think Jaylen Brown deserves to be on the first team, but if he was on the first team, we would have a Jaylen on every All NBA team. And we really missed out
Don't.
on that opportunity.
When I was typing this up, I was like, God, how many more Jalen's am I going to be typing right now?
And
Jesus.
I showed you the
Yeah.
Jalen song, right? Didn't we
Yeah.
talk?
Yo.
We
No.
talked. Yeah,
Now I know.
yeah.
Yeah. We
Um,
talked about it.
four out of 15 All NBA slots possessed by a Jalen. So, you gotta. They're everywhere. Second team starts with two Jalen's. Jalen Brown, Celtics, who had a whole Twitch stream again where he was kind of reacting to the news because I guess they were revealing it on TV or whatever. Um, and they didn't say his name for first team, and he started kind of going on this little tirade about like how nobody appreciates him and blah 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 blah. And then they were like second team Jalen Brown, and he went, "Oh, okay, cool." It was like just totally gave up on it. It was kind of funny. Jalen Brunson is on the second team. Kevin Durant ended up on second team, which I also had on my team, and that doesn't even sound right because I'm a Rockets hater. Kawhi Leonard on the second team. Donovan Mitchell on the second team. So far on my teams, I am 9 for 10 yet again. I had Jamal Murray on my second team, and I did not have Brunson. Now, you know, we can talk about how the Knicks are in the finals, but this is not this is not a finals thing. This is regular season. So I'm not mad about that. But I have a suspicion Jamal Murray will appear in our last All NBA team.
Looks at the camera. Third team, we got at the top. We got Tyrese Maxey. We got lot of love for Tyrese Maxey. Jamal Murray. Hey, there he is.
Whoa.
Oh, crazy. Jalen Johnson. Pretty cool to see him there. Jalen Duren, who we'll talk about, and then Chet Holmgren, who we'll talk about. So, interesting. It's interesting now that we know the playoffs have happened and there's the finals. It's interesting to look back, but like Jalen Duren was amazing in the regular season. Chet Holmgren had great numbers too. So it's like I forgot who my third team was, but I don't remember really having Chet
I can tell
or
you I didn't
Duren.
have
Maybe I
Chet.
did. I didn't have Jalen Johnson. I don't think I had Jalen Johnson either. But
I,
anyways,
I went 14 of 15. I only missed one person yet again, and it was Chet because I'm a Chet hater. Um, and
who'd you
and
have?
this series we're gonna talk about was a good indicator of why. I had
Revealing.
I had and you know who else is a good indicator at the playoffs of who I had? Karl Anthony Towns on my All NBA third team. So just saying, NBA, you guys should listen to me because I know what I'm talking about over here.
Me too. Me too. Listen to me. Listen to me. Me too. Me too.
But
Me too. I have good things.
listen to
Good things
us.
to say.
Listen to us.
Us, come on, ethical ball. It's us.
Well, like nothing
Um,
crazy. Like none of these
yeah.
awards, rookie, coach, defense, all NBA teams. Like we're a little bit off, but like it makes sense. It wasn't like when Andrew Wiggins was an All-Star starter, and it was like, what the heck? It wasn't insane.
Um, no, I will say like notable names. The only one I can think of, Anthony Edwards, who missed about like one game or something
Yeah,
like that. I
yeah.
think at the end of the season. Who else? I'm trying to think of anyone else that could really be. I can't really
Jason
think of
Tatum.
anyone else.
Jason Tatum because he was out most of the season. Tyrese
He came
Halliburton
back for like
all
10
season.
games. Yeah,
Yeah, well,
yeah.
you're
I mean,
saying guys like if you're just
I,
thinking like
I
top
guess like
players in the NBA.
well, because Anthony Edwards played a lot of the year. It was just like the
Yeah, yeah,
very
yeah.
end
He
where
just he just
yeah,
still didn't qualify. I was just thinking of good players that didn't qualify.
good, yeah, good players. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. I was gonna say, I was gonna say James Harden. Never
Mm.
mind.
Mm.
We'll talk about Jay. Hey, don't worry. James is gonna come up. Do not worry.
Ja-
James is gonna come up.
James.
He's gonna come up. James, you're coming up. James is
Okay.
coming up right now. Actually, we're gonna talk. Let's talk about playoff round two real quick.
Okay.
And I say real quick, not that
I
quick.
think we were somewhere in here when this happened. We were okay. Last time we potted, the Pistons were down 2-3 and the
Hmm.
Spurs were up 3-2. So we were close to
Yeah,
the end of these series. Um,
yeah,
but then they ended. So yeah.
yeah.
You
I,
wanna should I go? Do you wanna go?
I'll talk. I'll talk a little bit about Pistons because
Go
I was the
talk.
one who picked. I picked Cavaliers in seven, and I wasn't
Yeah.
happy about it. And I remember when so watching Game Seven, really just the Cavaliers were just in charge the whole time. And it was in Detroit too, so it was kind of sad to see. Um, so I picked the Cavaliers because of their experience. That was my reasoning for it because I think the Pistons are a very well put together team. They're just a bit young, and then Cavaliers, come on, they have Donovan Mitchell, who's been here many times. They have James Harden, even though he's not really a playoff performer. Like they've been able to prove that maybe the lights aren't too bright these playoffs. And
Hmm.
they were able to win in Game Seven. It was a really good series. A little disappointing at times because the Pistons just couldn't generate offense sometimes,
Hmm.
And Cade is just so good. He's such a magnet for people. And then, you try to get someone else to create, and they're having a bit of trouble. I will say Tobias Harris had a pretty good series.
Hmm.
Um, it was unfortunate that Jalen Duren did not really show up for this series. I remember one game Paul Reed was just basically playing because he was just had more energy off the bench, and he's like their third string center essentially. Um, so first time in the playoffs, really, I think Pistons should be very proud of how far they went, even though it was a first seed. Um, and there's a lot to be happy about. There's now what to fix, what to work on. I know not Donovan, Duncan Robinson missed a game, I think one or two,
Hmm.
maybe just one, and that kind of hurt them in the shooting side of the ball. And on the other hand, the Cavaliers just kind of took care of business when they needed to. Game seven, like I said, was kind of just they just kind of ran away with it and had the lead and kind of kept it. And we'll talk about Cavaliers a bit more in the next series because they also had a lead at one point in one game and didn't keep it. But
Mm.
I yeah, I think it just came down to experience, and I don't know what else to say except for that. I'm very proud of the Pistons, and I think they should be happy with what how it's not a perfect into the season, but hey, 2 seasons ago they lost 26 straight. So, I think this is pretty good for them. I think they should be excited for the future.
Yeah. Definitely, relatively disappointing considering they're the one seed, of course, exiting in the second round. Two 7-game series, one with the 8 seed and then one with the 4 seed Cavs here. And I think it looks worse when you look at the next round too, how it went for the Cavs. It's like, wow, we went 7 games with that team and then they got absolutely destroyed by the Knicks. That's crazy. Um, I think, what this playoff run will help the Pistons with is identify flaws. I think a lot of teams have this kind of run where it's like, okay, we're a good regular season team. How does it change when we get into the playoffs? And then how can we adjust going into the offseason for that? I think a lot of people would have told you the Pistons' weaknesses pretty early on this season, and teams just hadn't really exploited it yet. And I thought about this a long time ago, and it's been a while since we've potted, but they're really a team with one ball handler, and that one ball handler is Cade. Jalen Duren doesn't really have the Bam Adebayo aspect of his game where he can kind of dribble handoff and kind of make the extra pass when he's in the elbow and stuff like that. They don't really have a secondary ball handler. Tobias Harris can be that, but there were definitely times in this series where I was like, this is a lot of Tobias Harris. Even though he was playing really well, it's just not the ideal offensive situation to have him have that much usage. And then, of course, the other thing that everyone pointed at and said, and it was relatively true, is was the absence of shooting. Right, Cade is not a knockdown shooter. He's gotten better and he's respectable from three, but he's not a knockdown shooter. Jalen Duren is not a 3-point shooter at all. He's more of a traditional center in that way. Um, and then you got guys like Asar Thompson, who we love, love, love his defense, love his hustle. He made a lot of great plays in this series. I think he had a couple of unfair calls, a couple of unfair fouls go against him as he was trying to make these plays. But on the offensive end, he's just a zero right now. He has nothing. He's not really a playmaker. He's not a shooter at all. It's really just like, does he get like a backdoor cut layup? Like that's really all he can offer on the offensive end. So he really needs to expand that area of his game, or I don't think the Pistons, if they want to be a successful team, are going to be able to run him and Duran on the court at the same time because you can't have that spacing in the modern NBA. It's just not going to work. Um, Aside from that, Duncan Robinson, I think, played great. I'm a Duncan Robinson apologist from my long time ago fandom of his podcast that's dead, but it used to be fun to listen to. And he was a great shooter, and he was actually like pretty respectable on defense. I think people think of him as like a bad defender, but he was like fine on defense. He fit with them. Didn't see a lot of Ron Holland in this series. That's something that we need to address. He also can't really shoot. He's also, I guess, a good defender, but Asar kind of usurps him in the order there. You mentioned Paul Reed coming in, Isaiah Stewart coming in. This was a weird series because Evan Mobley and Jared Allen, the double big, but the Pistons just really can't afford to run double big because they just don't have spacing elsewhere, so they didn't. So that's why you kind of have the three center rotation, and Duran was often not playing up to par. He did have a really good game. I don't remember if it was game five or game six to get them back in the series. He had like his best game of the series by far. And then I think in game seven he was kind of a no-show again. But he did have a really good game in there that was like, this is the guy who we thought it was, and then that kind of
Yeah.
withered away. So they need secondary ball handling, they need shooting, they need spacing, they need that. And I think with that they have, a core for success. They just got to figure out what to do with a lot of these guys. Like Dennis Jenkins, probably ideal off your bench. He got a lot of starts as kind of that secondary ball handler. But as like if you want to be a championship team, that probably can't be the case. He probably needs to come off your bench, like an AJ Mitchell for the Thunder or a Dylan Harper for the Spurs. A guy like that who's can come off your bench instead of being in your starting lineup. Um, they have the Marcus Sassers of the world. They have just a lot of guys that need to kind of figure out what is this person doing on this team. Yes,
Yeah. Make the trade for Trey Murphy the third. Just do it.
Trey Murphy the third is
Give
awesome.
Yeah, give him Holland, Sasser, some other salary fill. Someone like that I think would help a lot with that
Yeah.
spacing for sure. Ball handler, I also agree with you. Maybe go for like a Trey Jones on the Bulls. Pretty good, underrated.
Hmm.
Um, anyways, that's thinking ahead. We can talk about the offseason another time, but yeah, I think the Pistons, they kind of know what they need to work on. That's the good thing. It's not like we lost, we don't know why. It's like you know why. You know why.
Yeah.
I
And
would
I,
love to
I
see a
spent
Sar
most of the time
Thompson.
talking about. Oh, go ahead.
I would love to see like a Sar Thompson. When I think of a mold of like a person on offense, I think if he could do like a Kelly Oubre thing, like just be able to shoot respectably and then make those cuts, like you said. Don't have to be a great passer, but just be respected. I think that would be awesome, and keep that defense.
Hmm. Yeah, I agree. And I spend a lot of time on the Pistons because we're going to talk about the Cavs when we talk about the conference finals. So I
Yeah,
just want to go ahead and get the Pistons out of the way. Cavs had to fight through it. And yeah, I'll save my analysis for them when we get to the conference finals. But Spurs Wolves, that was the other round two
yeah,
series. You wanna
sure
walk us
was.
through that? I just talked forever, it
Yeah,
feels like.
no, you're good. Yeah. So we last time we talked, Spurs and Timberwolves. Spurs were up 3-2. They were playing Game 6 in Minnesota, and it was a blowout essentially. I was watching this. It was on a Friday. I was out with friends, and I had it up. And we by the halftime we turned it off. They were up by like 22 or something at halftime.
Hmm.
They just were able to get out and transition, make and score and make their threes. And Timberwolves played kind of lethargically, I'd say. Like they didn't play with that urgency that you really need to in a closeout game. And they were without some people, so that doesn't help. Of course, like in the grand scheme of things. Um, I thought it was pretty funny that the Spurs in the second half they ended up getting up so much. I mean, they ended up winning this game by I pulled it up here. I think they ended up winning, yeah, by 30, 97 to 126. There was like a point like with 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter, Ant walked over to the Spurs bench and just said like, "Hey, good job, guys. Good game. Like this is a
Hmm.
fun series." Just like the game was still happening. He was like, "Now we know it's over. Like good game."
Yeah.
So I think Timberwolves had a lot of injury stuff, so it's kind of hard to really get on them about like what went wrong. They did win two games
Yeah.
against a pretty deep Spurs team without some guys, and I think that's commendable. Timberwolves are an interesting team as well because like they keep making the conference finals or getting really close, but not getting over that hump. What gets them to the finals? Um, Definitely want to think and talk about that like over the off season. I know with that cat trade, getting Julius Randle and Dante DiVincenzo, like do you move on past Julius Randle? He wasn't super great in this series. When Anthony Edwards was sitting, they really needed someone to kind of get going, and no one really could sometimes. And you'd want it to be Julius Randle. He's making like the second most money on the team. Jaden McDaniels was great, but he's defense, of course. Offense has progressed a lot. Io had to sit out, and he's a new guy on the team. I mean, you can't expect too much. I got a lot to say about the Timberwolves. All that to
Hmm.
say, the better team won. The Spurs were a better team. So it's good that they were able to close out without going to 7 games. I think that really helped them too in the next series. Like just getting ready for the next thing. Like don't try to prolong it. So anything to add? I mean, I guess I didn't talk about the Spurs that much. I'm going to talk about them a lot soon.
Oh yeah, well, we'll talk
But
about the Spurs. Don't worry.
yeah,
um,
yeah.
yeah, this was, you brought up a great point. Looking especially now, the Spurs being in the finals, the Wolves getting 2 games on them when Anthony Edwards was clearly injured, and they had no DiVincenzo. They were missing some other guys here and there. Like, you have to be not proud of yourself, but like you have to understand that that outcome is like okay. Like it's not like panic. We need to blow everything up. But you also mentioned Julius Randle, who I think had a kind of a bad series. He was not nearly as effective. You would hope with Anthony Edwards kind of limbering that he can take on more of the workload, and that didn't really seem to be the case this time around. I also want to think about the conference final series with the Spurs and the Thunder we're going to talk about. Something I'm going to mention is the effectiveness of the physicality of Isaiah Hartenstein against Wembanyama, just kind of using his bigger body because Wemby is relatively skinny, kind of push him around and force him to work really hard, etc. And I didn't see enough of that from Julius Randle, who is another guy that I think is really bulky in terms of his build, and I think could have used that strength to his advantage and just oftentimes did not. Now it's a little tougher with them because they have Rudy Gobert in the paint, so it's a little clogged down there and can't exactly get the space you need. But right now, before game one of the NBA Finals, is about as bad a time as you can look at the Karl Anthony Towns trade, as he is on this Knicks team in the finals, and he has had a great playoff run. And Julius Randle did not have a great playoff run. Dante DiVincenzo tore his Achilles. That trade is looking pretty tough for the Wolves right now at this moment.
No, I love you getting on the guys like he tore his Achilles. Come on, why do you do
I'm not
that?
getting on him, but
No,
it's
no, no.
just
I know,
it
I know,
doesn't
no,
look
no.
good right now.
No, no, I know, no, no, I know. No one would have predicted. No one's like, oh, he's gonna tear it. It's like,
Right.
no, he's not. It's like he's gonna. No one's gonna think that. No, I totally agree. I think what's really funny too is, sometimes I like to watch like some simulations of like how the season's gonna play out, and a lot of them
Hmm.
had the Knicks and Timberwolves in the finals, which I thought was like kind of cool. And I was like, we
Hmm.
got pretty close to that, but
Yeah.
um, yeah, yeah, I think that trade was obviously just to duck under the second apron and everything. It was a look ahead to save money, and we we think it should be about the team, not about the money. And I think it's that thing has made other teams suffer as well. Like we talk about the Celtics trading Drew Holiday and like other people to save money. So you know, getting over that hump, maybe you need to kind of think about the get into that. You're already expensive. You're paying a lot of people. Rudy, Anthony Edwards, Jaden McDaniels, Naz Reid. Like, do you move on from one of them, or do you try to like get in more talent? But then, you know, you have to think about these things money wise if you want to move forward and make it past the conference finals, like the Spurs did, and like the Knicks and Cavaliers and Thunder. So, um, I say we dive right into the conference finals. What do you say?
I think we dive right in. We take both hands and we swan dive. You remember the Old Spice commercial? Swan dive into the night of your life. That's a classic Old
I
Spice
don't.
commercial right there.
I
Well,
just remember the guy on the horse. That's about it.
yeah, yeah. Old Spice they make some commercials over there. I'll tell you
I'll
what.
never forget Axe and Five Gum. Anyways, let's move past this.
Let's
That's the ones I
let
remember.
let's keep it rolling. Do you want to take this? Do you want me to take this? I
I
want
got
to.
this.
All right.
Or you want to take it. You
I
go.
I realized I wanted to talk about game one, but really I want to talk about game one of both series, so it really doesn't matter.
I want you to have game one of the other series. I'll do
That's
this
fair.
one because I think that one that one we both were like in it and we were texting and everything. Game one. Let's talk about Knicks versus Cavaliers. Knicks sweep the Cavaliers. Game one was supposed to be a Cavaliers win. They were up by 22 points with like 7 minutes left. In Madison Square Garden, no, everyone in the arena thought, we're gonna lose game one. And then Jalen Brunson started picking on James Harden and just not missing essentially, and James Harden not playing good defense at all and being a traffic cone. And guess what happened? They tied it, and the game went to overtime. And then the Knicks ended up winning by 11. It was one of the most incredible collapses I've witnessed in a playoff game. For you not to make an adjustment during, as like coaching adjustments and like player adjustments and everything, like it's dwindling your lead. No lead is safe. What I love about the NBA now, no lead is safe. Back in the day, 20 points, even now, usually 20 points, you're like, game's over. But I've
Yeah.
seen many games be 20 points and then the other team win. So it's like I love that about the league now. So everyone knows it. You got to act on it. You got to make the adjustments. And they should have just taken I honestly just put more defense in. You don't need to score anymore. Stop them scoring. And they just didn't make the defensive. They did the defensive substitutions too late, and they ended up losing. And that was probably the only game they were going to get anyways. So it was pretty bad. I think, was it after game one or game two? Do you remember when Kenny Atkinson said that if you look at the stats analytically, we won? Oh, it was
Oh,
after game four. Is that they got swept?
oh,
So they
yeah.
get swept. Basically,
This
anything
was
you want to add about game
terrible.
one? You want to add anything about game one, or
One of my goats, Kenny Atkinson, really just dropping the ball of the series. Game one, I think I texted you and I said the Cavaliers just lost the series. Like it was as soon as they lost the 20, because you said people come back from 20 points. Yeah, if it's the second quarter and you're down by 20, there's so much time left. There are 7 minutes left in the game and you're up by 20. There is no reason to lose, especially when you have Donovan Mitchell, who this series and kind of playoffs in general was a little underwhelming for Donovan Mitchell taste because he usually has such a high bar in the playoffs, and I feel like he didn't reach there this year. And James Harden, who has been a guy that is known for possessing the ball and kind of taking up time in the shot clock, making, crazy step back shots, whatever. And I know he's a little past his prime, but you have two ball handlers, and, theoretically, you should be running decent offense, getting decent looks, and making something. They were just running terrible offense. They were turning the ball over, giving the Knicks easy points in transition, playing terrible defense with Harden out there on the floor too. And it's just something you can't let happen, especially when you're the underdog in a series like this, where the Knicks just coming off of absolutely killing the Atlanta Hawks. Is that who? No, who did they play in the second round? I
Pistons?
already forgot.
Oh wait,
No,
you're
the
talking about
Knicks.
Knicks? Oh, it was Hawks. Yeah.
It was the. Wait, I'm so confused.
This is the second round. We're in round two right now. Wait, no, we're not. Oh my God. Knicks played 76ers.
76ers, thank you. So they just
Sorry.
like destroyed the 76ers. Everyone is like, "Oh, the Knicks are like looking really good." And then you come in here with this 20-point lead, just like the Pacers did last year, by the way. But the Pacers actually won that game with the crazy Tyrese Halliburton shot at the end that hit the rim and went in. It was insane. And they had the crazy comeback. This time the Knicks had the crazy comeback against the Cavaliers at Madison Square Garden. Just something you can't allow to happen as the underdog. You have to close that game out. You win the game one on the road, win a game like that with that big of a lead, and people are talking, oh my God, the Knicks are eliminated. As soon as the Knicks came back and won, I was like, yep, that's it, guys. It's done. I was like, it's wraps. They dropped the ball. All momentum shifted to the Knicks, and it carried on the rest of the series. Just a disaster down the line. They got like blown out in every
Yeah.
other game. It wasn't even close. Um,
Yeah.
Honestly, like every game, I almost turned off by halftime. I was like, I can't watch this. This is ugly. And I have more to say, but it seems like I want you to chime in here as well.
Oh, I was just gonna say the scores of the next game because
Yeah,
2, 3, and
please.
4. Yeah, especially yeah. So game two, 109 to 93. I mean, almost 20 points. Game three, 121 to 108. I guarantee you that lead was more at one point. And then yeah, game four, 130 to 93 in Cleveland at home, almost 40 points. Um, Not good.
Not
Especially after
good.
you just traded a 26-year-old all-star adjacent basically player for a 36-year-old.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
the trading up 10 years in age is insane, and I think like at the time I was like, okay, Garland's not gonna fit. He's a small guard. He's kind of a defensive liability. Okay. I texted you and Jared right after this. I watched that possession. James Harden is standing, let's say, on like if you're looking at the goal, like the left elbow, and Josh Hart is out for a three. James Harden is standing there. Somebody else shoots. James Harden looks, ball bounces. Somebody gets the offensive rebound. Who he was right there. Like he should have boxed that guy out, whoever was in the corner. And he didn't. He's just standing there looking. That guy just comes in for a free offensive rebound. He's like, oh, that sucks. And then that guy passes to Josh Hart, who's at the 3-point line, who was supposed to be guarding. And he's just standing there. He goes, ah. And then Josh Hart shoots a three and makes it. And I was like, it's like he didn't even participate in that possession. He didn't try to get the rebound. He didn't try to guard the shooter. He was literally just standing there, just waiting for somebody to give him the
yeah,
ball. It was crazy. And he's, never been a great defender. And he wasn't a great offensive player either. I think not only did, the Cavs lose the series when they blew that lead. I think this core is over. We gotta just do something else. It's just they're not gonna be better than the Knicks. They're not gonna be better than the Celtics. They're not gonna be better than the Pistons. I know they beat the Pistons, but it was close, and I think the Pistons are only gonna
yeah,
get better, and I don't see the Cavs getting much better. And the difference in this series, when you really boil it down, is the Knicks are led by a small guard, right? And they're led by a small guard surrounded by two awesome, awesome 3 and D wings and OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges. They have Cat, the greatest shooting big man of all time, or whatever he calls himself, right? Like they have the perfect lineup for a small guard. The Cavaliers have a small guard, another guard who's not small in James Harden. It used to be a small guard in Darius Garland, but not a good defensive guard. A three that doesn't exist. We've never been able to figure it out. It was Dean Wade for most of this series. Wasn't great. And then two bigs that can't shoot. So like the defense is good, but because of the big guys in the interior, but just nothing around Donovan Mitchell makes any sense. The team construction is
yeah,
just bad and it's not going to work. And I don't really see a pivot. I think the James Harden thing was kind of the pivot, the last ditch effort um, to try to make this core work. But it was ugly in that series. And you already fired JB Bickerstaff 2 years ago, who was just in running for Coach of the Year in Detroit. I like Kenny Atkinson. I don't think he coached a great series, but I also don't think there's a lot he can do. Like maybe we could have
yeah,
got a little more Keon Ellis. I like Keon Ellis. We didn't see him a lot. And some other guys kind of down there on their bench instead of Dean Wade and a lot of Max Strus, who actually played pretty well in the playoffs. Um, Aside from shot making, he had some shot making here and there that was gross. Sam Merrill also had a game where he was like 0 for 7 from three. I was like, that's literally the whole reason you exist on this team. Um, so, like there's not a lot of pivots I think he can make. I think they need to pick somebody on their team that probably isn't Donovan Mitchell because he's too old now to build around. And that person is probably Evan Mobley because he's the youngest and has the most potential. And we hadn't seen it on offense yet. But if we can kind of ship everybody else out to different locations, we can get some young guys back, we can get some assets back. I think we just got to kind of restart the cycle. The only way we don't do this in my book, one, is because the Cavs are like the better version of the Bulls that I've complained about for 5 years, where they keep doing the same stupid thing that's never going to work. Or two, LeBron James signs there this offseason. those are the only two reasons they shouldn't do this. But if they want one last hurrah with LeBron filling in at the three, I can sign on to watch that. But other than that, I think that There is no evidence to me that suggests a clear path to make this current core good enough to compete. So therefore, they need to just shut off that valve and move on.
Yeah. I totally agree. I'm usually team. Oh, we've been here twice before. It's God forbid three times. It's like yeah, done. Move on past it. Um, Especially when you did like get older. I think like Evan Mobley, you keep around. I think maybe you sign Donovan Mitchell, but then everyone else like Jared Allen, James Harden, get younger people in. The thing is, I don't think Donovan Mitchell wants to be on a team where he's like like maybe this next year or the next year, like we're not going to be like at the top, but like we're building for something. And
Yeah.
he's getting older, probably wants to kind of win now. So see what you could do there. But yeah, I agree with you about definitely Evan Mobley. He should be the focal point of that series. But yeah, what a way to go out. And then it was after Game 4 when Atkinson said that if you look at like the statistics analytically, we won the series, which is so funny to say after you
Insane.
got not after losing a game 7, after you get swept at home. You're just like, I know you don't want anyone, you don't want to be like down and like just be like, oh, this team sucks, we can't win shit. But you can't be like, well, technically we could have won. And it's like,
They
yeah, of
they
course you
won the
could have
shot diet
won.
chart. They won the shot diet
Yeah.
chart down.
I'm like, dude, come on. I know you're grasping at straws, but man, there's no straws to grasp at in this
Man,
scenario.
there's nothing left.
Um, Yeah, and anyway, and like we didn't talk about the Knicks really yet. I guess we'll get to them
Yeah.
because they're in the finals. But they took care of business. They did the job. I think wasn't there a Landry Shamet game somewhere in there? Like he was just like really, or was
Landry
it game
Shamet
one?
has been really good. He's really good for them.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, I mean, I mentioned Cat earlier. I think he's had a fantastic playoffs. I think he's been pretty respectable on defense. I think he's been great on offense. He's still doing the Cat thing where he commits random fouls for no reason every now and then. But aside from that, I think he's been really, really good. Brunson, I think has had times where he struggled, but like ultimately is going to be there when you need him. OG, so good. Like can't ask for more. Exactly what you want. He's what we want, Jaden McDaniels to be. He's what we want, blah blah blah. X defensive wing to get that offensive push. He's doing it. He's doing it. Mikal Bridges is playing good basketball again after not doing that for a long time, especially on the offensive end of the floor. So happy to see that. They tried to employ Hack and Mitch a little bit in the series for our GOAT Mitchell Robinson, and it didn't really work because he was just owning them so much on the other end of the court that it didn't really matter. And he didn't even really need to play that much because they were just crushing them. So they were like, yeah, we can just bring Huckboardy in. It doesn't really matter. Um, but their bench does get pretty thin. It's like Josh Hart, Landry Shamet, a little Jordan Clarkson maybe, but Miles McBride. It's like not a lot of guys after that really, really grace the
yeah,
court. So I
dude,
do
come on,
worry.
Jeremy Sohan.
Right. I do worry about the Jeremy Sohan finals. I didn't even realize. I do worry about
Come on. No matter what, he wins.
right. I worry a little bit about like, an injury or two really derailing them in the finals, but I obviously don't want that to happen. But yeah, they've
Yeah,
just been heart, they've been hustle, they've been everything you want them to be, happy for Mike Brown. Um, I think that, another big flaw of the Cavs here in the series, we didn't make Jalen Brunson work enough on defense. He's a small guard. We got to get him in the action. And you know why? Because Jalen Brunson just guarded whoever their random three was. Dean Wade, Max Strus, Sam Merrill. Whoever they threw in at that random position, they just said, Jalen Brunson, go stand over there. That guy didn't even play basketball. So we don't need to work you at all. And they would try to include Jalen Brunson, and he would just say, I'm not going to switch, actually. I'm just going to drop because I don't need to guard that guy.
Yeah.
So it's whatever, and the Knicks would kind of figure it out with everybody else kind of crashing in for help, rotating, etc. So that's something I'll be looking for as we go on to you, because I really think that's kind of the only super obvious hole you can poke in the Knicks defense is Jalen Brunson, because otherwise they are just hounds everywhere. And then Cat, it has ups and downs, but very good
Yeah.
defensive team, obviously.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the conference finals. The Knicks are getting a lot of rest because this next series, I mean, a
Ooh,
lot of
baby.
people said Oklahoma City Thunder, San Antonio Spurs. This is one of this is the finals. A lot of
Right.
people were saying that this is the finals, or they were saying this is one of the most anticipated series in a very long time, and I have to agree it was, and it lived up to the hype. But
Yeah.
before we get into game one and how much of a movie it was, and just like all the twists and turns
A movie.
before game one, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander won his second consecutive MVP. I believe you
He
had
sure did.
Jokic as your number
I
one.
did. I did. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, and yeah, I was like, I think Jokic, Shea, Luca was my thing, of course. Come on.
Hmm.
But yeah, so
Gotta
he
have
joins
Luca.
Michael Jordan. Gotta top three always. If he qualifies, he joins Michael Jordan as the only players to average 30 points and 5 assists on 50% shooting for 4 consecutive seasons. That is crazy. That is a
Hmm.
testament to him. And a lot of people complain, but he is an incredible basketball player.
Yeah.
Um, and then you have a little thing here.
I have a little thing here that says third player to score 20 plus points in every game in a season, regular season. Who are the other two? Now, I wrote this question. I don't remember who the answers are, so I need to look it up real quick. I
Oh,
haven't. Okay,
interesting.
I know. I've looked it up, and I now know who it is. Amazingly, let me tell you this. I didn't know this when I looked it up. The other two players that did this did it in the same season.
You're kidding.
I'm not, according to whatever result I just got. Google AI overview is so trustworthy, so you know it's right.
Sure. That kind of changes what I was gonna say. I mean, the first person I think of is Kobe Bryant
Mm. See, I don't know if he's playing 82. I don't know if you have to
back
play
in the
82,
day.
actually.
Yeah, I mean, back in the day. I mean, yeah, I was reading that book like in the mid 2000s. Man, this guy was scoring like 30, 40 like nobody's business. But you know, I'm sure maybe he had an off game. Can I get the year? Does the year give it away?
The year will certainly give one away, I think. Yeah, he only played 68 games this year, so you actually don't have to play 82 games. That was a total lie. You just have to score
Okay.
20 in every game you do play. Which
Okay.
is
So
interesting that it has only happened three total times. That's kind of wild.
yeah, I mean, okay. So LeBron James.
LeBron James is not one of them. Are you
Hmm.
ready for the year? This is gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
1961, 1962 NBA
Okay.
season.
Yeah. So Wilt Chamberlain.
So Wilt is one of them. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Duh.
Yep.
And then Bill Russell.
Not Bill Russell.
He was later,
This
right? Yeah.
no, he was around that
Um.
time. He just wasn't that much of a scorer.
Yeah. I mean, gosh, don't.
For the
God. I
Cincinnati
mean,
Royals.
Jesus
That's
Christ. It's
helpful,
like
right?
Earl the Pearl Monroe or
Oh, what
something.
what a pull. That's a great pull by you. It's not him, but that's a great name.
Oh my
Um
God. I'm reading this
hey,
book. I'm reading a, sorry, go. Or I'm reading a book by Magic Johnson. Not by him. I'm reading a book about Magic Johnson, and they're talking about him, so that's why he's on my mind. Anyways.
gotcha. Uh, this team became the Cincinnati Royals became the Kings. So this player was also a king, and then he was also a Buck.
I mean, is it Oscar Robertson?
Oscar Robertson. Yeah, that's the other one.
Yeah. I forgot he was on the Cincinnati. I thought of him, but I was like, I don't think he was on the Cincinnati Royals, but I can't name anyone on the Cincinnati Royals, so
Right. Right.
so I don't feel bad about that at all. But that's wild.
Go.
Okay, that is crazy. So it's literally Wilt Chamberlain, Oscar Robinson and Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. That
Right.
makes
What a
oh my
list.
God, that Paul George trade is terrible.
It's looking good.
Golly. At least it's the Clippers who've, kind of flubbed it.
Yeah.
Um, anyways, okay, so I want you to tell me about game one. Tell me about game one.
Whew. Okay. I'll do my best. Um, and let me preface it by saying this may be the best NBA game I have ever watched. Game one. It was that good. It was neck and neck. We were talking lead changes, ties, etc. throughout the whole game. The OKC crowd is always electric in game one of a conference finals against a Spurs team that had bested them in the regular season in terms of their games they played against each other. The crowd was ready for it. They've heard the Wemby noise. There's already kind of some, is Wemby better? Is he the best player in the world now? Because he was having a great playoffs up until this point. Um, so the game one had a great environment, had a great game, back and forth. Both teams wanted it. Both teams were hustling. And the Spurs had kind of a lead for most of the game. It was, 5, 10 point. Like it was pretty small. And then the Thunder closed the gap at the end and ended up taking the lead down the stretch of game one. And we had a couple of insane plays that happened during this game. One I can think of is Wemby gets the ball kind of in the elbow and takes like one dribble and then two steps and then just like dunks it like like he's sky hooking, but he dunks it like this. And I think that was like really that was either in overtime or pretty close in the fourth quarter when it was a close game and it was like, oh, that was crazy. Um and then of course the craziest play, the play that heard around the world. Thunder are up three. There's like 30-ish seconds left. Shea, I think it was Shea, took a elbow jumper and barely missed it. Maybe it was Jalen Williams actually. And Spurs get the ball. They pass to Wemby. He's walking up. I'm literally sitting there watching like I wonder if they're gonna call a timeout or like what's gonna happen here. And then with like 29 seconds on the shot clock, Wemby just stops right where Steph Curry did it, which, people want to make that comparison because the Steph Curry shot was insane. It was like the first bang call ever from Mike Breen. It was a game winner, so people always bring that one up. And he just pulls from the logo, basically. It was like 30 feet. Just out of nowhere, unprompted, nothing but net and it was crazy. Like I literally had like a visceral out of body reaction to it because I was so caught off guard. I think I explained this to you as like when teams are shooting a tying three with 1 second left, like we're ready. Like we're sitting there, we're like, okay, somebody's gonna get the shot, somebody's gonna take the shot. Sometimes they make it, sometimes they don't. And it's still crazy. I think because I was just sitting there pondering like I wonder like what the process is gonna be here. And then the shot went up. I was so taken aback, and then it went in that it was like double taken aback. It was just absolutely bonkers, mind-blowing stuff that you don't expect from a 7'5" center. To tie the game and eventually send it to overtime in which the Spurs win an insane game one.
Well, I wanted to say my story of that because I
Yeah.
was sitting right here, sitting at the
Mhm.
back of my bed. I'm watching the TV right over here, and he dribble. I'm thinking the same thing. They're taking a timeout, always looking to pass it to somebody, set up for something, try to get a champagne three or something, just get something. He pulls it. I gasp very loud. I I was like, huh? Huh? And then and then it goes in. And I scream and I jump forward onto the edge of my bed.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
and that's how crazy it was. That's not something I do. I'm not someone that
Right.
does this. This is not a regular thing for me. Um yeah, even my roommates were like, "What were you yelling about?" And I was like, "Geez, like you guys missed one of the best." I was texting people after. I just watched one of the best. I texted my mom, my dad, um and a girl I'm talking to. Shout out. And I was like, and it was like, I just watched one of the best basketball games I've ever witnessed in my life. And they're all kind of like, yeah, sure. And I was like, you guys don't get it.
You don't
You
get
guys don't
it.
get it. You're
You
not
weren't
understanding
there.
me right now. Um, it was incredible. And then like even didn't it, correct me if I'm wrong, I swear it went to double overtime.
It might have been double overtime. It might have been. I
I
honestly
s-
don't remember.
when I'm looking at Google right now, it says just OT, but I swear it was double overtime. It was double overtime. That's what I thought. Google lies.
Yeah, classic.
Yeah, I mean they were just overtime, they were just gassed. And I remember like this is overtime is where like I forgot who went in. I think it was Stefan Castle or Dylan Harper, like a floater at the buzzer, and Chet Holmgren got that block. You remember that?
Hmm.
That was like a block to send it to double overtime. And then double
Yeah,
overtime was all Spurs. So
yeah.
like
And
that was what
everything
made the
leading
game
up to
really
this.
special.
We had
Yeah.
like the Spurs came out to a huge start in this game, and it was like, whoa. And then Alex Caruso was like, actually, I'm Kobe Bryant, so I'm gonna go ahead and take over this game now. He ended up with a career high 31 in the playoffs.
Hmm.
Um, 8 of 14 from three, which was insane. Dylan Harper had 7 steals, which is a playoff record for the Spurs. That's insane. Like there was just a lot of insane things happening in this game, but it was, of course, capped off 41 and 24 rebounds from Wemby. And this is the only game this happened really. Um, but the Spurs did, or sorry, the Thunder guarded Wemby with wings, which is something they experimented with in the regular season. So we saw a lot of Caruso on him. We saw some AJ Mitchell. We saw some J Dub. We saw their smaller guys, not Holmgren, not Hartenstein. And Wemby just kept getting to the basket, getting to the basket, getting to the basket all game. Which is why later in the series that changed. I mentioned this earlier. They got very physical with Hartenstein on him a lot. Was this you wanted to interject before I continued down this path?
Keep going.
Okay.
You're good.
Um, a lot of Hartenstein being physical up under him, forcing him out of the paint, which I think caused Wemby to struggle a little bit, shoot more jump shots, etc., which is obviously good for the Thunder, not good for the Spurs. That's why the Thunder, I think, were able to kind of climb back in this series, as well as absences from De'Aaron Fox, who missed the first 2 games. Dylan Harper was out or exited game 2 with an injury and then didn't look great for games like 3 and 4. He was kind of ramping back up, but he did play and played the rest of the series out. Um, so yeah, it was a struggle a little bit, but then Wemby kind of got back to business and what he was doing. He kept doing this thing. I wanted to bring it up before I forget. Something I've literally never seen before, and I know when we're talking about Wemby that that's something that comes up a lot, where he would kind of get in the paint, and this was when he was going against the little guys too, he would kind of throw up like a layup, and he's 7'5", so he doesn't have to throw it very far. And as long as it like hit the backboard, it would hit the backboard, bounce off the rim, and by the time he threw it up, he would have already rotated to the other side with his other hand to like put it back, to just like dunk it. I watched that happen like 10 times, and I was like, I've never seen anyone do this. Do you know what I'm talking about? Did you see that happen?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It was
I
wild.
it was yeah, he just has that wingspan to be able to like grab it after putting it up before anyone can reach it.
Hmm.
Um the one thing I wanted to mention, I mentioned Stefan Castle, 11 turnovers in game one. You really noticed De'Aaron Fox not being there for game one and game two. Because Stefan Castle, I think he had 23 turnovers in two
Hmm.
games or something. It was bad.
This is a
But
great
he
mention.
still
This is a
played.
great mention. He had a lot of
Yeah,
turnovers because of that usage rate. Yep, yep, yep.
yeah. But De'Aaron Fox came back and then it went down, and Stefan Castle, he wasn't used to that. All season he's basically kind of playing with De'Aaron Fox, who's a bit more sacred handling the ball. And Stefan Castle's young and he's still getting. I don't think he's going to be averaging 10 turnovers next season every game or something.
Hmm.
But they were able to, even with that, they were able to win this game with those turnovers. So. Um, at least game one, and then yeah, game two. Anything else you want to add about game one? It was honestly was incredible. I will rewatch it during this off season. I just know I will.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much to talk about. Chet was relatively unimpressive, which becomes a theme in the series. That's got to be somebody I think that people are giving a lot of thought about over the summer because he had a tough series on both ends of the floor. Really, wasn't stopping Wemby when he was on him, and he wasn't contributing offensively. Not that he was even like shooting poorly. He just like wasn't even shooting. He was just kind of standing around. Um, it was very passive, I guess I should say. So that wasn't great. I also wanted to mention because you brought up Stephon Castle, who I totally forgot to mention when we're talking about the Spurs. Love the hustle, love the heart, uh, getting in guys' faces, kind of getting chippy at times in the series, which we have seen a lot with the Spurs team throughout the playoffs. And at some point, I don't remember what game it was in, had the dunk of a lifetime. One of the greatest dunks I've ever seen. Over Hartenstein, I think, or Chet, one of the two centers. I think it was Hartenstein. Just absolutely yammed it in his face, all over him, gave him the look down. It was nasty. That was another like visceral reaction play. We talked about the Anthony Edwards dunk on John Collins on this podcast, and we talked about how that was great, but also he kind of threw it in. This was like he touched the rim. He really just everything was perfect. Like it was like a perfect dunk. Are you rewatching at the moment?
I'm literally gonna watch it right now. It was over Hartenstein. He goes into
Yeah.
the basket, just yams it down on, and then like, oh my God, like every Wemby's running up the court, like, oh my God, it was how much elevation he got on that because he pulls it back, so he's able to hang that hang time. That was like
Hmm.
what really helped him like get it over Hartenstein, and yeah, he just, whoo, I forgot about that. That was crazy. Oh
Yeah.
my God. Was that game
It
one?
was pretty early in the series, but I don't remember what game it was.
I think it was game two. I think it was game two. Because game one, they were wearing the black jerseys and they're wearing white in this one. I'm pretty sure it was game two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, anyways, great mention. Can't believe I forgot about that. That was a great, I like, and then
Yeah.
again, gasped. And like, yeah, he hit finger on the rim and everything. I was like, okay, that's a dunk right there. That's for sure.
Yeah. So he had a great series, but he did have a lot of turnovers, which I think kept the Thunder into some games that otherwise they would have been out of, and games that I think they otherwise won. A couple other things definitely want to mention. AJ Mitchell strained his calf in game two, aggravated it again in game three. It was out for the rest of the series. Really unfortunate for the Thunder. He had been balling. He may have been their second best player in the playoffs.
He was
Yeah.
their second leading scorer going into the series.
Yeah, he had been awesome, of course. And then Jalen Williams, missed games 3 to 5 with the hamstring strain, and game seven. He tried to play in game six to clinch the series. Um, nope, to force a game seven because the Spurs were up 3-2. No, the Thunder were up 3-2. He tried to play in game
Yeah.
six to clinch the series, and only played 10 minutes because it was nagging him so much, and he did not play well when he was in there. So he ended up going out again. So, when you think back to the Thunder being eliminated, it's the offseason. I think some people tend to have a tendency to kind of freak out, but your second best player, Jalen Williams, 40 points in the finals game last year to finish the series. Like, I know he was injured a lot of this year. That guy's obviously a really good player. Hopefully, he'll be back and healthy next year. AJ Mitchell missing a lot too. That's obviously really important. Um, I think you can look at maybe Lou Dort, who didn't have a great series. He's kind of the Thunder guy, though. He's been there for a while, but still not, this was not a Lou Dort year or series where he's shooting like 35, 40% from three. He was really struggling. Airballed a couple times. It was a tough watch for him, and he's a great defender, but there were so many times where Cason Wallace was playing great defense, and then I watched Cason Wallace score like 12 points in a row for the Thunder to keep them in a game in the fourth quarter. I don't remember what game it was, but he had like four straight threes, and it was like, wow, Cason Wallace is like on a heater right now. And he's obviously a great defender. Shea's a good defender. J-Dub's a good defender. Like the defensive specialty of Lou Dort, while maybe he's still overall like the best defender or one of the better defenders, it's just not as necessary when everyone on your team is such a good defender and he's not contributing on the other side. Um,
Yeah.
And I think people will overreact and say that that could be the case for Chet because Chet had a very underwhelming series in every aspect. Wasn't getting in the paint, wasn't shooting, and when he did shoot, he didn't shoot particularly well. Wasn't playing great paint defense. The Spurs were. This is something we should definitely mention. The Spurs guards were getting to the rim like every play. Castle, Harper, Fox, and it's interesting because those three guards, like De'Aaron Fox, really fast. Stephon Castle is like really aggressive and like strong. And then Dylan Harper is like kind of a mix. So they have a lot of different ways to do it. And I think with Wemby being able to space out, with Champagnie being a threat, Devin Vassell, we haven't mentioned, uh, like not like a great series, but just such timely buckets where it's like, oh, we really need a three. And then Devin Vassell hits it. It's like, of course it was Devin Vassell because it feels like it's always Devin Vassell. He played great when needed in this series as well. So when you have guys spacing out like that, it brings out Hartenstein, brings out Chet, lets the guards get to the rim, which ultimately caused Chet to be ineffective. I think Hartenstein did a pretty good job on Wemby on the other end, but I didn't think Chet did a whole lot in this series, and that looks bad. And Hartenstein, I think, is a free agent, and I don't know if the Thunder can afford to pay him again. So theoretically, Chet is going to be your center going forward, and that right now seems like it could be a problem if you have this matchup again in the future. Um,
Yeah.
so we'll see. They have some decisions to make this offseason. I am excited about the Spurs coming to the finals. It's a little earlier than people would have imagined, ourselves included. I think we both predicted the Spurs to be good, but I don't know if we thought finals good. I think I may have glazed them a little more than you early on this season, but I wasn't thinking, oh, they're going to go to the finals, because I thought that that team would be the Thunder. So. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's great to see though. I love they kind of like whenever the buzzer rang or whatever at the end of game seven, all the Spurs players very emotional, very happy. Um and you love to see that. And you can tell that they just care a lot. Think they're coached well. Think they play hard, physical basketball. They make the right plays, and that's awesome. Um I forgot to mention that Wemby was warned from dodging media after their game five loss. So it was 2-2 Oklahoma City. Oklahoma takes game five, and Wemby just left. He said, I'm not talking to anybody. That's like always a fine. So him getting a warning is kind of weird. I feel like he should have definitely gotten fined. I don't know if I agree with that. That kind of eludes favoritism, which is a little bit of a worry. Um, but yeah, it was honestly a fabulous series. One of the best series I remember. Every game, I was on the edge of my seat for most of it. There really weren't a lot of times where it was like this team so clearly has this game in the bag because it felt like at any point the other team could push their way back in. So it was awesome. It was a great watch. If you didn't watch, you should definitely go back and rewatch the games or even just the highlights if you want to just watch the highlights. But definitely a series that I think could define a rivalry for the next 5 to 10 years.
Absolutely. Two things I wanted to mention real quick. Only two games were really boring, and interestingly enough, they were both like Spurs blowouts, and not even boring.
Hmm.
Like they're still very competitive, but game four, Spurs won by like 20. They
Hmm.
held the Thunder to 82 points, which is
Hmm.
insane to think about. And then game six, Spurs won by like 30. So,
Hmm.
it's just and it held them to like 91. So basically, their defense really locked in for those. And the last thing I want to mention, we didn't mention him yet. Sixth man of the year, Keldon Johnson. So
Mm.
the series started and like
So
he
many
really
guys to
wasn't.
mention.
Yeah, I mean that's just a
Oh.
testament. Yeah, I mean they're in the finals, right? So it's beginning of the series, he was coming off the bench and like doing that six player role, not really making that much of a impact
Hmm.
on the floor. But then later on in the series, he was crashing the glass. He got some really timely rebounds. He made some really timely threes. I think in that game seven to really help the Spurs kind of stay in that game and in the game. And like you mentioned Devin Vassell, but really he was the one like, oh, there's a clutch shot coming. It's Devin Vassell. Julian Champagnie made some also clutch shots in Game Seven. Just you know, shout out to them. They're in the
Yeah.
finals. It's crazy. Let's talk about it. We made it.
We're here. We're at the summit that I mentioned earlier, the Apex. We're at
Yes.
the finals. Spurs Knicks starts tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm not an odds person, and I have not looked at odds. I would imagine the Spurs are favored just because they beat the
That's so
Thunder.
my roommate asked me that, and I was like, I don't look at odds, but I would say I think it's the Spurs. Um, but I'm sure it's close. I'm sure it's not like really high odds or anything.
Hmm.
Probably not like it was last year. I'm sure OKC was like highly favored to win last year,
Hmm.
and that was to seven. Um, yeah. Do you want to let's talk, let's talk a little bit about both sides. So for the Knicks, what do you think about them? What are you expecting? Do you have any injuries? Anyone you're worried about?
Well, we do have somebody I'm definitely worried about. Somebody that I literally think will define the entire series if they're not healthy, and that is Mitchell Robinson, who I guess in practice, since they beat the Cavs, because this didn't happen in a game, he broke his pinky, and he had surgery on it, and they're like I think he'll play game one, but that status matters to me a lot because I think. Now, given I mentioned the Wings trying to play, the Thunder trying to play wings on Wemby, their wings are not as big as the Knicks wings, OG Anunoby, Mikal Bridges, those guys. OG Anunoby playing on Wemby, I could see working more than like an Alex Caruso and et cetera, just from a height standpoint. But I think Mitchell Robinson will be key in the series to not let Wemby rebound everything because Wemby tends to do that if you don't stop him. And Mitchell Robinson is a great rebounder. He's a great offensive rebounder. And I think he'll be great also just as kind of a paint protector because Cat, as I mentioned, his defense has been good, I think, the playoffs. He's not going to stop Wemby. He's not that good of a paint defender. I think Mitchell Robinson will be critical and necessary for that. And then I think Josh Hart, OG Anunoby, Mikal Bridges. If one of them is not guarding Wemby, because I think one of them will guard Wemby at some point throughout possessions, you'll see that. Having the other two on the guards, I think, is going to be very important. So I think their guards will have more defensive pressure than they've seen even though the Thunder are a very good defense, I think just because Shea carries so much burden on the offensive side of the ball for the Thunder, he just was not like hounding on defense, right, for whomever had the ball. So those turnover problems we mentioned for Stephon Castle, if he has OG Anunoby on him or Mikal Bridges on him and they're really hounding him, that could become a big problem for the Spurs. And something that I think ended up costing them some games against the Thunder is all those turnovers. Not only obviously does it lead to turnovers, easy points for the Knicks and the Thunder in the last series, but it also messes up their rhythm. They can't get into a flow for their offense. And they feel like a team when I watch them, it's very flowy. Like they get a lot of momentum, they get on runs, they kind of operate emotionally almost in the way that they're playing. So if they can't kind of do that and they keep hitting, obstacles in the road because they're turning the ball over or whatever, I think that'll be an issue. Um, like I mentioned for the Cavs, I want them to make Jalen Brunson work. You have De'Aaron Fox, you have Stephon Castle, you have Dylan Harper. Get these guys in action against Jalen Brunson. Force him to play defense so he cannot only play offense. I think that will be a key in this series for them, especially because it's hard to hide Jalen Brunson against this team. Thinking of their starting lineup, it should be De'Aaron Fox, Stephon Castle, um, Devin Vassell, Victor Wembanyama. I'm trying to think who their other forward is. Maybe they've been playing Vassell and
It's Julian
Champagny.
Champagny. No, they've
Yeah,
been doing it was Champagny was starting.
yeah, which makes sense. Like when I say it, I'm like, that sounds right. I just didn't think about how like none of those guys are
Yeah.
power forwards. They're all just like they're like wings.
Guards. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so like I guess Brunson, if I had to guess, is gonna hide on Champagny just because he's not gonna have the ball in his hands a lot. But like you got to get, if Julian Champagny needs to be your screener, so you get Brunson involved in the action, that needs to happen. And you need to get the ball in his hands because you got to make Jalen Brunson work. Can't just let him stand around on defense. Um,
Yeah.
and I think, Cat has a tendency to foul. you got to get him in foul trouble. You gotta, get down in the paint with him. You gotta force him to defend people too. You got to get him away from OG, from Bridges, from Josh Hart, from those guys, and into your offensive stars and make them work. And then the other end, I think the same can kind of be said for Wemby. Obviously, unanimous DPOY. Cat can shoot the ball. And none of those other guys are strong enough, or not strong enough, sorry, big enough to block him. So you need to bring Wemby out of the paint, and you need to use Cat shooting to do that. Now, is he going to always leave the paint? No. Then Cat's getting open threes. Cat has to make those. But if he's not leaving the paint, or if he is leaving the paint, and you're doing that, if he's not leaving the paint, um, you got to kind of pass the ball around to the guys in the perimeter. I think what do they call it? Gang rebounding will be really important, where everyone kind of is crashing the boards or running in transition to kind of prevent the Spurs from getting offensive rebounds or just easy possessions. Um,
Hmm.
and yeah, I think there's not really an easy target for Brunson to pick on in this lineup. I think everyone is a pretty respectable defender. I think their guards are pretty respectable. I think Champagne's like fine. He's bigger at the very least. So there's not like super obvious targets for him, but they're gonna have to find shots that work, and they're gonna have to find hard shots that work because, Jalen Brunson's like, floater down the lane is gonna be really hard over 7'5" Wembanyama. So they're gonna have to kind of get difficult shots to go in, and it's going to be kind of a war of attrition, I think, and it'll be tough for them. So I see why the Spurs are favored in this series, but that's kind of just things I can think of off the top of my head that kind of interest me. If I were leaning pick wise, I would pick the Spurs, and I think the Spurs winning in six and MSG would be kind of fire. So I'll do I'll do that for my pick. Now you tell me all of your thoughts. Feed them to me.
Oh Lord. I had a lot of the exact same thoughts as you. One person I did want to mention, I think that we didn't even mention in the conference finals, Luke Cornett.
Oh, yes. The Luke
Chase
Cornett
chase down
minutes.
block, chase
Yeah.
down blocking. Yeah, I think that having like kind of a bigger bruiser guy on the Spurs helps them against this Knicks team as well. And like knowing if like Wemby needs to rest or gets in trouble, you can put Luke Cornett in. And then I guess if Cat's running at the five, that's going to be a lot harder. You're going to pull him out the paint. But it's just so the Spurs team is so deep, which we mentioned earlier, but really like all these guys like are really rotational and can play and they know the assignment, they know the defense. I can't think of really a defensive liability on the Spurs, you know?
Hmm.
Everyone is pretty good at defense or really good. The
Hmm.
Knicks, like I said, their biggest weakness, is Brunson. Cat has been playing pretty commendable defense. So I won't even say
Hmm.
he's like a um, liability. But then you get guys like actually Landry Shamet's doing pretty good. Um, you get guys like oh my God, what's his name? Jordan Clarkson out there. Like you can
Yeah.
pick on him a little bit. And you got like the size advantage of Jose Alvarado for every reason is out there because he's can be defense. Like he's small. And then like Deuce is commendable as well on defense, but he's tiny, not tiny, but smaller. So um, yeah, when you really compare the two, especially if Mitchell Robinson, please. I know you can hear me. Please play. I've broken my pinky too playing basketball. Okay, Mitch, you can do it. I believe in you. Um, yeah, I'm. It's funny because like right when they won, I was with some friends who are like Spurs fans, and I was like, I think Spurs are gonna win in six. That's just like my kind of my gut feeling and that is something I never would have thought I would have said beginning of this year, you know.
Yeah.
So just a testament to this team. It's really cool. I'm excited to watch it. I'm gonna go. I think there's a Texas bar nearby me, um, in North Hollywood, like 15 minutes from me. So I might try to go watch it there just to be around like Spurs fans. I think that'll be fun.
Yeah.
Um,
That'd be very cool.
see some friends. We'll see. I got a little game. I don't know
A
if
little game.
it's time
Did
willing if
you?
you want to do it.
Yeah. Did you make a pick?
I said Spurs in six.
Okay, that's what I thought. I just also zoned out
Yeah.
into the abyss. So that makes sense.
You're good. I was no, yeah, that was my initial, like, when I was just like, as soon as it happened, game 7 ended, I was like, I think Spurs in 6. And then I really thought about it, and I was like, I think it goes like Spurs Knicks, Spurs Knicks, Spurs Spurs. I think it's
Mm,
one of those. They
mm,
just
mm-mm.
kind of like adjust, and then they just know what to do, and it's done. That's kind of like
Yeah.
what I feel like it's gonna be.
Yeah, that makes
Um,
sense.
yeah, I got a little game.
A
It's
little game.
it's a
All
little
right.
game. I'm gonna time it. So you got I'm gonna say like 10 seconds to answer, so you can't think too hard
Oh,
about it.
okay.
Okay.
Jeez. This is stressful.
It's gonna be a blind rank. Okay.
Okay. I like
So
blind
basically
ranking. Blind ranking's fun.
you got 1 through 10. 1 through 10,
Oh,
okay? So
10. Oh,
I'm gonna
wow. Okay.
we can do 5. We can do 5, and then we can do 5
No,
next
10 is
time.
fine. 10's fine.
Okay.
I'm used to blind ranking 5. That's what I see on the old social media. So,
Ah,
but
yes,
10's fine.
yes.
10's fine.
It's okay. Let's do 10 because that's what I prepared for.
Yeah.
We're going to blind rank the best NBA Finals championship teams of in our lifetime.
Blind rank the
So I,
best championship teams in our life. So since 1996.
yes, not
Um,
all of them, just 10.
Obviously.
I picked 10
Right.
random ones.
Yeah, exactly. So that okay, yeah, because you could show up with yeah, okay, I got it, I got it, I got it, I got it.
You got it? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
I'm gonna do it pretty instinctually, I think. Are you gonna write them
I
down?
got
I should write them
I
down
got a
too.
stopwatch. Yeah, I should have told you. I'm sorry about that. I got a stopwatch too, so I'm gonna
Hmm.
let you know. Think about it
Here,
a little bit.
let me open
Basically,
my notes app, get my list ready.
yeah, yeah. You're good. Open the notes. Let me explain just a little bit. So,
Yeah.
I'm going to give you the year of the team, the name of the
Hmm.
team, and their starting lineup, just to kind of give you a refresher of like who was on
Oh,
this team.
oh, okay.
I got you. Yeah, just
Starting lineup helps.
absolutely. Because you tell me some like 82 Lakers, I'm gonna be like, I know Magic Johnson's there, but I don't know who's the
Right.
supporting cast this year. So, um, I wanted to do that for you to make it a little easier. And since it's the
Consider it.
finals, I was like, we'll do finals champions, and I think I have some ideas for other ones too, which we'll do.
No, this is
We'll do
good.
over the off season.
I like this. I
This will
like
be fun.
this.
All
And to
right, let me know when
celebrate the
you are
finals.
exactly. It's a celebration.
I'm
Celebration of the
ready.
finals.
I'm ready. Let's
Blind
do
rank.
it.
Okay, let's do it. Okay, I'm going to pick one of these random teams. Let's get started. I'm going to do 2013, 2014 San Antonio Spurs.
Yeah, the
So we got
Spurs.
Tony Parker,
Yeah.
Danny Green, Kawhi Leonard, Tim Duncan, Tiago Splitter. 1 through 10, what do you give them?
Thiago Splitter's insane. I'm gonna go. I'm I'm gonna go.
10 seconds.
Yeah, I'm between two numbers. I'm gonna go three.
You're a 3. Okay.
Yeah, I was
Love
between
this.
two and I was honestly
Love
between
this.
2 and 3. So I went three
Okay, cool.
because A, Tim Duncan's last championship, B, Kawhi Leonard's first championship, and C, kind of ended the Heat dynasty. So um there was a lot of things that mattered about this. So that's yeah.
Also, Danny Green's first championship. Very
Yeah, whatever,
important.
man. Whatever. Whatever, dude.
All right, here we go. Okay,
Yeah.
we got 2014 Spurs number 3. Next,
Mhm.
we have the 2003-2004 Detroit Pistons. Chauncey
Mm.
Billups, Rip Hamilton, Torian Prince, Ben Wallace, Rasheed Wallace. 1 through 10.
Wow, this is another. You gave me two really good ones to start. I'm worried you're giving me 10 good ones. Because there's some I can think of, and I'm like, whatever. But this is
It's 10 seconds.
this is another heater. I'm gonna go four.
Okay, love this, love this.
I'm gonna go four
Uh,
because I can't. By the way, I can't even think for the listener if there's a one or two that I'm thinking of above these teams. It just seems so risky to put something that high right now. Um, but the Pistons, same logic. I mean, they foiled the three-peat from Shaq and Kobe, right? Which is a big deal. Defense only, no like superstar guys on that team. kind of a cool, unique team to win a championship. So yeah,
Yeah, broke my heart, but that's okay. And so I have a very it's interesting because I remember back then, Lakers fan, I disliked them, but it was a cool team. I like respect
yeah.
a lot of them, except Chauncey Billups who gambles on games. But besides that,
Darko Mill. Oh, I forgot about that. I should have moved him down. Tough.
All right, next, here we go. 2023-2024 Boston Celtics.
Yeah, we're
Drew
gonna go.
Holiday,
We're gonna
Derek
go.
White, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Kristaps Porzingis.
You know what? You're lucky you said Drew Holiday. You're lucky you said Drew Holiday. I was gonna put this team at 10 without a second thought. And then you said Drew Holiday, so they're going at 9.
Cool.
I
Love.
just don't like the
Uh,
Celtics. And I didn't like that, like it was a boring finals too, so
Yeah. No, I'm right there with you. All right, next we are going to go. Here we go. Let's do this.
hmm
1997-1998 Chicago Bulls. Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Dennis Rodman, Luke Longley, Ron Harper.
And is this the last championship?
This completed the second three-peat against the Jazz.
Oh wow. That
It
changes
has
it,
10 seconds.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Hey, you were telling me the starting lineup, and I had to ask a clarifying question, okay?
I didn't ti
Um,
I don't time the starting lineups, just letting you know.
yeah, sure, man. Sure, whatever, bud. I'm, I'm gonna go to. I'm gonna go to because, like, when you said Bulls, I was like, whatever. And then now it's the Last Dance. I watched the whole documentary. That was pretty cool. Obviously, it's a big, big moment in NBA history, so. I don't have a super big personal attachment to this team, but in terms of NBA impact, I think it's pretty up there.
Yeah. Um 2024, 2025 Oklahoma City Thunder. Lou Dort, Shea, Hartenstein, Chet, J Dub.
Yeah, this one's kind of whatever. It was. I mean, the Pacers were great. I'm gonna go 7. The Pacers were a great opponent. It went to Game 7. The Thunder, I feel like I haven't had a super strong attachment to. And obviously this year I think it has kind of made me not care about them even less. So I'm
Hmm.
gonna go 7 at the moment because I just like I feel
Solid.
like I don't remember anything like visceral. Like I wasn't like, oh my God, they won the championship. I wrote instead
Yeah.
of 2024 Celtics at number 9, I wrote Drew Holiday, so I just fixed that.
Nice. Nice. Good. That's what matters. That's what that really mattered. Right now, just you still have 1,
hmm
5, 6, 8, and 10.
Yeah,
I'm just kind of just saying that
yeah.
overall. Okay, cool. So we're halfway through. Right
hmm
now, I'm going to say 2016, 2017 Golden State Warriors. So this was Steph
mm.
Curry, Klay Thompson, Kevin Durant, Draymond Green, and of course, Zaza Pachulia.
Yeah, this can go 10. This can go 10. I hate this team. I hated Kevin Durant leaving the Thunder. I was a Thunder fan at the time because of Russell Westbrook. Um, he went to the team that just beat them 3-1 in the finals. I hate Zaza Pachulia too. I'm glad you said that because that really reinforces his 10 decision. He's the one who stepped on Kawhi's ankle in that conference final series, and the Spurs looked like they could have won that series against that team. So, yeah, that's going to go 10 for me. I'm glad I didn't put the Celtics there because I dislike the Warriors.
I It's so funny because I was looking at the starting lineups and I was like, I don't know, do I put this team? And I saw Zaza Pachulia. I was like, I gotta put this because I don't even know. I've never heard of this guy. Honestly, doesn't I know I've heard the name, but I'm like, I could
I
not
hate
tell
him.
you what he looks like or yeah. So that's fine. Okay, cool. Here we go. 2009, 2010 Los Angeles Lakers. Derek Fisher, Kobe Bryant, Meta World Peace, Pau Gasol, Andrew Bynum. This is the one that beat the Celtics in 7.
Yeah. Yeah, what a series. It's gonna have to go at 5. Because I'm not gonna put it at 1 because it's the Lakers. Yuck. But Kobe, first championship without Shaq against that Celtics team that just won the year before.
Was the second one.
Second without Shaq?
They won 2009 as well. This is
Is
2010.
that not what you said? Oh,
I said
I
2009,
see.
2010. Yeah, yeah.
I
They beat
see.
the Magic. I almost did that team, but I was like,
They
this one
won.
was a bit more.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. I
Yeah,
forgot they won back to back.
yeah. You're good. Yeah, I always the Magic one is the one I forget about all the time. Yeah, so it's Celtics in '08,
Against the
Magic,
Celtics
and then
is good, yeah.
yeah. So this is why I did this one. So you got five. So yeah, you
Yeah,
got
yeah.
number five. Cool. Um,
I'm gonna end up
yeah,
with
and
a
Kobe's last
diabolical
ring
one
as
and
well.
one.
I'm so
Oh.
stoked for this. Here we go. Right now we're going to go. Here we go. 2018, 2019 Toronto Raptors. Kyle Lowry, Danny Green, Kawhi
Oh.
Leonard, Pascal Siakam, Marc Gasol.
Yeah, this is gonna go at one. I'm okay with this going at one too. Because this was leading up to this, we had the crazy Kawhi shot against the Sixers, second round, one of the best shots ever. This was Kawhi's half of a year or whatever. No, it was a full year. I think he was traded before the season. In Toronto, and he brought them a championship. And this only, Canadian championship in the NBA. This defeated that godforsaken Warriors team that I hate. So a lot of reasons to put this up at one. I kind of wish I didn't even put the Bulls at two, to be honest with you. I kind of wish I demoted them because I really just don't give a shit about the Bulls. But it's okay.
Hey, also start of the parody era right now. I think that was the
Mm-hmm.
Raptors, right? Yeah, so
Mm-hmm.
I love that pick. Great pick. I got two more for you. Pretty well-known
There's one I've
teams.
been thinking of, and if you say it, it's going too low, so that's unfortunate.
2015, 2016 Cleveland Cavaliers.
Oh fuck! I wasn't thinking about that at
Kyrie
all.
Kyrie Irving, J.R. Smith, LeBron James, Kevin Love, and the GOAT Tristan Thompson. Six or eight?
This sucks. It has to go six. This should be like one or two, honestly. I literally forgot about it. I didn't even. This has not crossed my mind in this conversation at all. Oh, the Bulls look so bad at two.
Hey man, this is
Oh,
what it's
this
all about, man. This
The
is what the blind
Lakers.
ranking's all
Oh, fuck the
about.
Lakers. I should have demoted the Lakers. I should have demoted the Spurs. This list sucks. This is
The
terrible.
Spurs so high was so fun. I thought it was hilarious. Okay, one more. We got one more. This could be anything. This could be anything. And don't I think you'll be happy with this one.
Okay.
2012, 2013 Miami Heat, Mario
Yeah.
Chalmers, Dwayne Wade, LeBron James, Shane Battier, Chris Bosh.
Yeah, like I'm
Uh,
I'm I have the Thunder above this. I'd like the Thunder below this. I'd probably honestly put this above the Lakers too.
yeah,
Um Yeah, because this has the Ray Allen shot, which leads to a game seven, which leads to a comeback. Like this is kind of a huge deal. It is the second one, so it's not as meaningful as the first one. But the series
yeah,
itself was awesome. The one I was
yeah,
thinking of was the Bucks, the 2021 Bucks. I was waiting for the 2021 Bucks. That would have went high on my list too, so I'm glad you didn't say it because I needed some lower ones. I'm really
yeah. I would
happy.
have.
Sorry.
I was thinking of the Bucks. I was also thinking of the like the Lakers. But there's a couple Lakers ones I was thinking of, and I was like, Bubble, but Bubble's so easy. Like I don't know. Like I was like, I'll do like a more of a classic one for that.
Hmm.
And I try to do like five that make sense, five that were kind of like whatever. Like the more recent ones, kind of were me like, I feel like those aren't going to go super high.
Yeah.
Um, but just yeah, just your blind rank of the
Hmm.
best NBA champions in our lifetime of these number one 2019 Raptors. And then we got a two the 1998 Bulls, three the
That sucks.
2014 Spurs, number four the 2004 Pistons, five 2010 Lakers, six 2016 Cavaliers, seven 2025 Thunder, eight 2013 Heat, nine 2024 Celtics, and at 10 the 2017 Warriors.
Yeah, I have a couple on
It's
here that I'm really happy with. Like 9 and 10 being the Celtics and Warriors is awesome. Um,
yeah,
the Thunder being number seven is fine. They probably would end up eight on a real list here. I think Bulls, Lakers probably got to go lower. Obviously, the Cavs need to go way up. 2016 Cavs. That's the
Yeah,
biggest miss. 2016 Cavs being in the back half there, but literally didn't
yeah,
even think about the team until you said it. So,
yeah.
but
I thought about Mavericks too. Mavericks because that was like the one where they
yeah,
kind of got
yeah,
in there.
that would have been a good one too. A lot of championships in our lifetime. 30 years worth of championships. Um,
I know. I was gonna do just random teams throughout history, and I
hmm.
was like, oh my God, no. I was just like over flooded. I was like, I'll just do lifetime
It would have been
for
like
sure.
Bill Russell's 13th championship. Like,
Is it like
okay.
it's like
Uh,
sure, I think I know who was on this team. I can name one player.
Bill Russell, Bob
Anyways,
Cousy, Sam
hey, thanks for
Jones.
playing. Thanks for
That
playing.
was fun. Thank you for putting that together.
Of course, happy to. But yeah, we got the finals tomorrow, Knicks versus Spurs. Super excited to watch this, and um, yeah, I don't know. I don't want it to end, but it's beautiful because it ends, and then we got next
Right.
year and everything to look forward to. So, yeah, thank you if you made it this far. Thank you again for listening. Let us know who you got. Who do you think is going to win? Knicks, Spurs, could be anyone's game. Um, Damon's going to take the shot and he's going to make it. He's going to sink it. 'Cause that's what he does. That's what we do.
Yikes.
No. He's going to do it again because
Let
this
me show
time it's
you
going to
a
go in.
live demonstration of what Wemby
Of
was
this
doing.
Stefan. Oh,
He was like throwing it like this, hit, bounce, and then he's here already. Dunk, and it was like, oh, okay, that didn't make any sense at all. Don't know how that happened.
physics. Yeah. I think it's about time I actually say it. Victor Minyama is a top five player in the league.
Oh, you hate to admit it. You hate
Yeah.
to admit
You hate to admit it. But
it.
don't worry, Anthony Edwards and Luca are higher. Don't worry. I'm kidding.
It's gonna
They're
be
not in the
crazy when
finals.
Wemby wins
Anyways,
his next MVP next year, or his first MVP next year. That's tough.
it's gonna be crazy when they win four championships in a row, and Luca is just not winning MVP or anything, and I'm just like, whatever.
Two
I
years
just
from now,
want him
you're
to
gonna be
win.
like, rank the Spurs championships. I'm like, shut the hell up. I don't want to talk about the
Of the
Spurs.
last 30 years. Yeah.
Oh,
10
this was a lot of
years, like
fun.
number one. Yeah, this is fun. But yeah, thanks again everyone for listening. This is
Two-man game with Damon and Dom. Goodbye.